Alrighty. Well, anyway, I hear that you're collaborating with Chris and John on in a bit, right?
Well,
on a
John,
song or two, right?
Yeah, there's a bonus track on it that
Right.
I'd written with John, and then Chris Kinder did the mastering for it, so he did a great job on it.
So what song is it?
The bonus track is a song called Last Time, which I'd actually written to want to be something that me and John would use for Butcher, but I recorded it for my Faces CD and never released it. So I never heard it. Nobody's ever heard it. So it's a cool tune. It's pretty heavy.
So do you have a lot of material left from the last album?
No, actually, you know what? This time I wrote what I needed, because my biggest problem was I have a tendency to overwrite.
Oh, yeah?
And then instead of like trying to release 10 songs, I would release too many, you know, and I just decided that I was going to write what I needed and release what I needed, so.
So how do you work usually? I mean, do you already know what you want to do with a CD, or do you just put together songs and then you pick and choose, well, this is all right, and what do you do?
This CD, I had a different kind of a picture in my head. I wanted to make something that was a little bit more traditional to what people would expect from me, you know. It's like Pins and Needles was really kind of experimental and cool. I think 10 years from now, people are going to listen back to Pins and Needles and go, wow, it's a really cool record. But it was one of these things that I think it went over everybody's head. You know, it was weird too, because some people were like, man, this is my favorite record that I've ever heard, and some people were like, what kind of drugs is Caffery on? So it really just, it was a very different record.
For many solo artists, or actually not solo artists, but guys in bands that do solo records, it's usually a way for them to get music out that they wouldn't be able to do with the bands that they're in.
Well,
is that your reason for doing this, or?
You know what, the reason for me doing is because my band's not playing. You know, it's like if Sabotage was playing, I would not be doing solo records, but because Sabotage isn't playing, I mean, I really don't want to join any other bands. I'm playing this stuff with Ripper because he's a good friend of mine, and I was really happy to do this. But if somebody asked me to play and do a tour, I'll do it. But I don't want to put another band together. I don't want to join another band. I don't want to stand there and do a photo shoot and say, I'm in this. It's like because to me, I have the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, but my band and my life and my whole soul has been Sabotage. So it's like, until that band plays again, I really do these records just because I want to make music and let the fans hear something, but
So it's not just a way to let out some ideas and dreams that you normally wouldn't be able to within Sabotage?
No. Because like I said, if Sabotage was playing, I would have absolutely no desire to go through the hell that I do with doing my solo records. Yeah, because it's a lot of work. I'm doing all the business and taking care of all that stuff, and it is really a lot of work. So.
But who's working with you on this album?
Well, this record I did a little different. I did everything myself.
Oh, yeah?
Other than the drums. I recorded it, I engineered it, I mixed it, I played the bass, I played the guitars, I did all the singing, except for some of the back row vocals and a little bit of keyboards. Right. And I had a guy named John Macaluso that did my last solo tour, play drums, great drummer. He's played with a lot of different people. And that was the only thing I did out of my own studio in my house, and then I turned the record over to Chris to master it because I had to get it to somebody else's ears. I was so burnt on it. I mean, I spent 8 months straight working on it, and that's why I called it House of Insanity, because I just was going completely crazy when I was doing it.
So how come that you did it that way? Because you must know plenty of people to help you out.
Couple different reasons why I did it that way. The record companies are really they were being stingy with what they wanted to give, what they want to give for advances nowadays. And they're all trying to restructure deals to try to get, the bands to cover the cost of this and that with them. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to record everything in my own studio. I'm going to buy my own stuff and make it so I can always make my records. And in the United States, I release this record on my own label. And I've already sold more than I did on my last record through my own label. And that's before radio or touring or anything, and I kind of proved the point with that, because it was like, I knew that the labels are just afraid. I understand the business is bad. I know people are stealing. I know the things, but if you get too stingy and too careful, you're not going to sell anything.
Yeah, you're going to lose anyways.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, why am I wasting my record with you then? And I was like, I figure if I'm going to waste it, I'll waste it myself, and instead of getting you know, the couple bucks you might get from a record label after they recoup all their expenses, you know, it's like I make a lot of money per record, and I'm able to record the thing and promote it and do what I need from that money without having to sit there and listen to somebody complain about losing money.
But I heard that you said that the sales are going pretty well on the internet. So it's just a question of being able to use it the right way, or is that what you're saying? That
I
you
think
can still
so.
do it, but in a different way?
Yeah, you know what, you got to give people the opportunity to get it, and you have to, it's like, I think the really true fans, they want the record. A lot of people want to hold the record. They don't want to just download it. So, you know, and I was given a poster with the CD on the internet sales and things. It's just something to make it a little bit special for them. I mean, everybody's hurting for money nowadays. The economy's terrible in the world. I mean,
but what about that hot sauce thing I was reading about?
Well, you know, me and my friend just decided to start making some, and we're gonna try to bottle it, sell it. My hot sauce is a little different than most people because it's kind of like where some people's hot sauces are in little jars. Mine, like, people like so much they dump it on their food almost like spaghetti sauce or ketchup. So it's like a different kind of a thing. It's really easy to eat. People like it a lot. So I'm gonna work on that. Something to do, you know. I got like 3,000 pepper plants growing in my house in the backyard, and we're gonna just start doing it. And I got a couple restaurants that want to, you know, buy some from me already, and then I'll start bottling. And I actually want to give some of the proceeds from that to MS, because my sister has MS. So I want to try to work with charity with that on it too.
That's a good idea. That's really good. I mean, it gives me an impression that you're sort of a workaholic because you're constantly doing different things.
You know what? I'm so tired and burnt out, but I get bored so easily. It's weird. It's like I really want to sleep and stop moving, but then when I go and stop moving, I lose my mind. So I think that's.
But then you said that you're sort of kind of waiting for maybe Sabotage to start playing again. Do you think it's going to happen, or?
I really don't know. And I read an interview that I did the other day, and I think the guy it was a Brave Words interview, and I think sometimes it strikes a bad nerve with me when people ask, because they, you know, they'll think of this reason and that reason why Sabotage isn't playing, and I just know that, you know, in my personal opinion is, even if the band just played in this tent for 5 minutes, you know, I don't care what the circumstances is. I don't care what the money is. I don't care what the reason is. Like, I just want to play with my friends and play that music again, and I really miss it. And I've said it, like, you know, what else can I say? I really don't know. I think it's going to play again. I think that, you know, for anything, I think we owe it to the fans to do it. We really do. The fans have been so loyal to this band, and so incredible, and you know, it's like, I love what John does with John Oliva's Pain. I think the records are great. John Oliva's one of the best songwriters that I've ever seen, worked with. Even if I wasn't working with him, he's a genius. I mean, but I think that, you know, the Sabotage thing needs to get some kind of closure, especially, you know, for, like I said, for the fans, but for someone like me, I put so much of my life into the band. I want it to play again, and I'm going to be a whining crybaby till it does. You know, it's like, I'm going to be like, come on. But I think it's going to, you know, I really do. And you know, I just think it's a time, and I think the time that we spent away from it has really made everybody want to do it a little bit more, because I think we turned around and been like, all right, I think we're all ready to play again, you know, because it was,
I don't know, I just heard something about Paul O'Neill is not going to let it happen, whatever, I don't know why. But
you know what, I don't want to get, like I said, I don't really want to get into the reasons about it. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't even have to be a Sabotage tour, record, reunion. Like, let's just play in somebody's backyard. You know, it's like, that's where I'm coming from with it. I'm like, we don't need, you know, I love Paul and I love everybody involved, but we don't need somebody's permission just to get together and play some chords and make some music, even if it's for no money, even if it's, you know, like I said, in someone's basement. And hopefully we will. I think that once the band gets together and plays, we're going to get in that room, we're going to look at each other, and we're going to be like, this is great, you know, let's do something. But until it happens, there's You know, I've read and seen and heard every excuse in the book, and I don't have any answers anymore. All I know is that whenever it happens, I will be there.
I spoke to Zach a while ago. He said the same thing. It seems like everybody wants it, and but for the time being, TSO is the moneymaker probably. So we've got to do that thing for a while, and then blah blah.
Yeah, like I said,
it doesn't matter.
I'm not putting the blame on anything.
Yeah,
I mean, because really, seriously, it's like I said, if we really wanted to play, we could just grab some acoustics and Jeff can get some bongos and we could sit there and play. You know, you don't need, it doesn't have to be about a money or a festival or a DVD or a reunion or this and that. It just got to be about the music, and I think until we get over that, you know, that hump of just getting everybody together and going, let's just play. You know? And that's what I want to do. And it was cool on the last TSO tour because we had me and Jeff and Johnny and even Skolnick, we were up there. We were playing a couple of Sabotage songs, and you know, and then John came around, and you know, Al was at the other TSO, and we're just talking about it. At least, you know, the talking's going on about it. It's not like the whole "it's not going to happen" thing. It's kind of like, you know, when can we get the time to do it the right way? Because it's got to, right now, I mean, it's been so long, it's got to be done the right way.
Yes.
It can't just be thrown together and we go out there and suck because, you know, obviously, you know, a lot of anticipation. And it was funny because at first, you know, it was like, oh my God, we've waited so long, you know, nobody wants to see us. But now it's been way long.
So now everybody wants to see us.
Yeah, it was like, we're at that point where after 2 years, it's like, nobody cares. And now after 7 years, everybody's like, where's Sabotage? So we definitely have put ourselves in a position to where when we do come back, we can go and headline these festivals and people are going to love it. I mean,
there is something special with the band. I mean, it's like a family more than a band.
Yeah, exactly. We're different. We're misfits.
Yeah. But I mean, when you look back on how you ended up in Sabotage in the first place, that was a little bit weird.
Yeah.
How did you feel back then when you just sort of had to play out in the in the back of the stage instead of getting up on it?
Well, you know...
were you uncomfortable with that, or was it totally okay?
It was frustrating.
Yeah?
It was frustrating, but we got along so well.
Yeah.
You know, we really liked each other a lot, and John always promised me that he was going to get me in the band, and he did, and you know, I think if it was handled a little bit differently in the beginning, it might have been, you know, because it was kind of like Chris was always the only guitar player. Paul produced Down King, and Paul was like, I really think the band needs another guitar player for the live show. So, of course, Sabotage, you know, Sabotage management tells me I have the gig, I'm doing it, and then Sabotage tells the management that they have a guitar player in Florida.
Right.
Which they didn't. They had some kid they were going to take on the road and just pretend that they did.
All right.
And he wasn't going to play. So I was like, you know what? I worked for months on this music and I loved it.
Yeah.
I said, let me just go down there and play. I'll fly myself down there, and if they hate me, I'll eat the plane ticket and go home. I said, if they like me, let me stay and play. And we played 2 songs, and it sounded great. There was a chemistry to that, man. I feel it's terrible that Chris had passed away, because I really wish people, you know, especially the young fans, could have got a chance to see that Sabotage.
Yeah.
Because that Gutter Ballet Sabotage was brutal live, man. It really was. It was. I mean, I felt sorry for the bands that had to go on after us.
Yeah.
We were young, we were hungry, we were freaking just a bunch of goofballs that went up there and kicked your ass, and it was a really fun, powerful band to be in, because Chris was so great. John was in his prime, and we just really went up on stage and did what we had to do.
Yeah, it was amazing. You know? So there were never any hard feelings because you had to do it that way?
No, you know what? I think that it was a great opportunity for me, and you know, what else was I going to do at 20 years old? You know, I was able to go out and play arenas, and it was a learning experience, and you know, eventually got into the band. You know, I have more hard feelings towards myself because I left the band. You know, It's like I was young and dumb and stupid. It's like I didn't realize that, you know, I could have tried to put the band together with my brother and still stayed in Sabotage.
All right.
You know, and leaving the band for the Streets records, like, to me was, if I could turn back time on anything that I did in my life, it would be that, because to me was, I lost those last couple of years that I would have been with Chris, and I kind of really hurt his feelings because, he went out on a limb to put me into the band, and then I left it, and it was just it was a weird thing. I made a mistake, and to me, it's like every time I see that Streets record, and it's the only record that has the band's faces on the cover, and I'm just like, it kills me when I see that, because I should have been there, and I wasn't, and, as time goes on, that becomes the record that really grasps the fans and everything, that whole feeling, the whole Believe thing, and it bothers me a lot, I feel like I didn't necessarily take a notch off my belt in the way the fans feel about me, but I think as far as the Sabotage history book goes, it leaves a space, because I would have been in there after the Mountain King tour and been there the whole time, and there never would have been that, well, you left and you came, so.
At least. I mean, you learn from it.
Yeah, exactly, and luckily I got a chance to get back in and make things happen.
So now with this solo stuff, what are your plans with it now, really? Are you going to promote it and tour?
Yeah, I'm going to promote it and try to play and lose as little money as possible, because it costs to do anything nowadays. And it's, to get a band on the road, you need tour support and stuff like that. So I'm talking, with the AFM people. I'm going to see if there's, if they can get some kind of tour going on for me towards the end of the summer here, and just look to see. I'd love to bring band over to play a little bit. I'm going to do some dates in the States. I've actually been talking to Jeff Plate about maybe doing something with Metal Church and Zach's Machines and Gray's thing that he has. Yeah, so we might do some shows there, and hopefully Ripper's going to come back over here. But before you know, it'll be TSO rehearsal time, and I want to go up. I'm just going to go and play. I've got I want to do some acoustic things too. I'm going to travel around the world and just go to, like, maybe there's some places like Greece or South America that they can't afford to fly the whole band over, but the fans want to see me, so I just take myself and one of my keyboard players that I work with and go fly and just play some of my stuff and Sabotage songs just acoustically, just to go see people and do some guitar clinics and stuff, and just build it and play it. And I'm going to start.
Really cool idea.
Yeah, I'm going to write some more music for my next record, and probably going to put some instrumental stuff on this record too, because I never really, like, when a guitar player does a solo record, he usually does guitar player music. I didn't. I did a solo record that was like, a metal band. So
it was really tough. I mean, really hard, and I was surprised when I heard it. I'm like, whoa, that kind of blew me away.
Yeah, so the next record, it's not going to be a lot, but I'm going to put like 2 or 3 instrumentals on it just to kind of go, hey, I can play guitar. Take a listen.
If anyone ever doubted that, then oh God. Okay, so anyway, so after this whole thing, then it's TSO time, and
there's a really good possibility we're going to see TSO over here next year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think
that
so.
If we
could get the non-holiday, the Night Castle record done, and get it together, we're talking about coming over here next year.
The question is if that's going to work, because you're selling out arenas over in the States.
Yeah.
Over here, people might not have heard of you that much.
But you know what? We got to build the same way we did. Come over here, we'll play theaters and hopefully get on a couple of the festivals and just do what we do. And I know what TSO does to people. It's incredible. TSO kind of has that same kind of feeling Sabotage does.
Oh yeah.
And I personally think TSO can be as big over here as it is there. I just really do. It's just going to take time. And I mean, we didn't start our first tour in America. We did 7 shows in theaters, and then it built and it built and it built. And last, 10 years later, we played for 1.2 million people last year. So it's like, if we start and we do 7 theater shows, we do 7 theater shows. It's like,
It's crazy in a way. I kind of agree with John.
Of course, Paul will have the largest show anybody's ever seen and will lose tons of money, but that's just the way. That's the way he works.
The way it is.
You know what, Paul's a genius, and he knows what to do. It's like he never sacrifices the show. And the first few years of TSO, we had a show that was way bigger than the amount of people that we were playing for. So it's like there was no way it was possibly going to make money, just because mathematically it was impossible. You play in these theaters and you got this show that's so freaking huge, you couldn't, unless you were going to rape people and charge them $300 a ticket, there's no way you were going to make money on it. But he just wanted to establish this bar of like, this is what we're going to do, and it just kept bringing people back, and little by little we got bigger and bigger, and it's really incredible.
But do you feel the same way that John did, that it's frustrating that it's basically the same band, just packaged differently, but people are coming to see you, and they didn't want to see Sabotage in the same amount, you know, because like he always says that, well, you might have sold out maybe for, you know, 3,000 or 4,000 people, and now it's like huge arenas, and it's pretty much the same guys. Or you don't look at it that way, that it's, well, sort of just the name that created this new thing?
I think that, you know, TSO really needed the leverage of the holiday music to get where it was. You know, it's like we had Christmas Eve 12/24 on the record, and it was getting airplay, but never would have did what it did under the name of Sabotage. I really don't think so. You know, maybe Sabotage would be selling out theaters, or possibly could have got to the point of selling out arenas. I think we could have, but you know what? I also think that, you know, we were at the point where we were almost ready to break Sabotage into arenas over here. So, you know, why did we stop that? We didn't have to.
Right.
So, you know, it's you could sit there and second guess things, and if that, and if that, and if that, all you want. It's like I said, my one thing with the Streets record, but you know, I think we're all very fortunate that TSO is doing what it's doing, and in the end, you know, Paul's really, I know Paul, he wants Sabotage to get the respect it deserves. He has that, you know, Chris Oliva guitar everywhere. We did the Sabotage songs in the show last year, and I know Paul. Paul, I've never met somebody so driven in my life. He's going to want to see Sabotage be successful, because it's something that, not that we weren't successful, but we never broke to that level, and in the back of his head, he definitely has it that he's going to make that happen too, and like I said, with Paul, genuinely what he sets out to do, he gets done.
He's waiting for the right time.
Yeah, and I think the right time's coming. I think it's, you know, we can go out. I think Sabotage right now could go out and sell out theaters in the States if we wanted to.
Yeah.
I think we could, because just if we were to go like play Dead When They're Dead as a piece or something like that, I think that there's enough Sabotage and TSO fans where if you had a 3,000 seat theater, I think you would get half Sabotage and half TSO fans in it, and it would sell it out just based on who we are and what we've done. So, like I said, the demand for Sabotage is bigger all the time. You know? So, and I know it because I talk to the festival promoters and everybody that goes, you know, we want you to headline this, we want you to headline that. There's a couple anniversaries of some of the big festivals over here that just happened that I know for a fact we were asked to headline. So it's, to me, that's the most frustrating thing. It's just like, I want to play, you know, I want to get up there, and not that I didn't mind, you know, mind playing at noon with Ripper, but I'd love to play, you know, 10 o'clock at night with Sabotage and have, you know, the whole entire crowd there and everybody singing all those songs. And, you know, you miss it. I miss the fans, I miss the band, I miss the whole thing, so we'll see what happens.
Well, I hope it's going to happen.
Yeah, me too.
Well then, you know, for now, I'm good.
Okay. And then when you get a chance to listen to the record, we'll talk more about it.
You know, all of this stuff just came about too quickly.
Well, you know what? I just got the whole thing together with AFM really recently. I just got, you know, music, and